Have you ever felt like you're not doing enough as a parent? Maybe someone's made you feel this way, maybe it's social media. Whatever it is, I think we all get this feeling a lot. But I'm here to tell you, if you've ever felt like you can't keep up with all of the trendy things that you should be doing, a new sensory box every day or every week, toy rotations, all of the things, don't feel bad. None of us parents can keep up with this, and it's not real life, honestly, and it's not what your kid needs to learn and grow. Hi, my name's Lily, and I am a former educator who has become a stay-at-home mom. I left education whenever I was pregnant with my son and decided to stay at home with him during his early years. I took a lot of what I knew from my education background. I taught middle school, so it was a big transition to go from middle school to toddlerhood and babyhood. But I taught middle school, and while I taught middle school, I also had a degree. I have a degree in early elementary education as well as special education, and I have my master's in reading. So teaching is my world. And I took all of that knowledge and more. I researched and talked to other parents and found programs and doctors and physical therapists, occupational therapists, everyone that I could connect with. And I took all of that knowledge and I have been applying it to raising my son. And I've found a few things to be true. And I just want to share those with you. And I want you to know, if you're here, that you are doing enough. You are truly doing enough. It does not have to look like it does on social media. It does not have to be perfect to work for your family and to work for your child. So today, I just want to share with you 5 ways that you can support your your students. You might find me say that, use that language. Again, that's just the educator background in me that might come up. But I just want to give you 5 ways that you can support your child and their development every day. Easy ways, not Pinterest, not TikTok video support, worthy, whatever you want to say. Not a million sensory boxes, although those are great. And if you have time to do those or you get a chance to, great. But not anything fancy, not anything expensive. Just 5 simple ways that you can support your child's learning development every day. So we're going to start with one that's very simple. Learning does not have to be what I would call academic. What do you mean? Learning and academic, isn't that synonyms? Yes and no. Learning, especially when we're talking about early childhood, is going to be through play. It's going to be through just everyday experiences. These little babies we're talking about, they're potatoes. These little toddlers, they've never been in the world. Do you think a toddler knows how a post office works? No, they've never been to one. You tell a toddler this thing was clear across the world, they don't even know what you mean, clear across the world. Every experience can be a learning experience for a toddler or a young child. And these learning experiences truly does help them whenever they are in elementary school. I know we could see the kids who was, learning through experiences, who had experiences when they came to school versus those who may not have that privilege. So involve them in your everyday life. Get them as many experiences as you can. Sensory. Get them outside, touching grass, touching sand, experiencing everything they can. It does not have to be structured. It does not have to be worksheets setting at a table. If you try to do a worksheet or some kind of paperwork activity with a child that's under two, it's probably not going to go real great. It just isn't. But if you take that same child and you grab some sticks and some grass and some dirt, they will be entertained all day. So learning, it doesn't have to be worksheets. It doesn't have to be set at a table and you complete this and then you move to the next worksheet. As a teacher, as an educator, my background, we learned that this was a concept I learned for elementary math. Kids learn concrete and then they learn it's actually concrete, and then you use pictures, and then you move to words, that basically. And I apply that to toddlerhood. How am I, if I show my kid a picture of a bus, or if I go show him a school bus, he's going to make a lot more connections with the school bus right in front of him. Because from a picture of a bus, can you tell how big that bus is? Not really. But if you go in person and you see a school bus, you can show the size, you can see people fit inside, a lot of different things they can build from seeing something in concrete. So as many early experiences as you can give a child, that is golden. And, you know, definitely one of those experiences is just play. And early childhood, they learn through play. Moving on, number 2, one thing that you can do for your child is narrate your everyday life. You know, I said everyday life, those are things that a child has never experienced. Take it a step further. Tell the child what you were doing. That's vocabulary exposure, that's building connections, that's sequencing, cause and effect. You know, I'm slicing this cucumber. Oh, look, we took a big cucumber and now it's little slices. To us, that seems so mundane. That seems so like, duh. Those duh moments are what are the aha moments for kids. And that was something that was always really difficult for me to understand as a teacher, because I'm like, we all know this. Yes, we all know this now as an adult. Some of the ways we can teach our teach our children, like I said, I'll get out of that habit. Some of the ways we can teach our children are so simple, are so like, oh, duh, you know, moments. Whenever your child is around 9 months, they're learning object permanence. They learn that something exists whenever it's not there, which is, you know, peekaboo. We think, duh, I know if you go around the corner, you're still here. You're just around the corner. Kids don't know that. That's the simple little things that we know, but they don't. Just apply that to a lot of different things. And like I said, narrating your life while I'm cooking. I love to cook, and my son loves to watch me cook. He loves to be involved in cooking with me. We have one of those little toddler towers. I'll try to remember to put a link below. And he also will just move over his high chair now and stand up on his high chair or a kitchen chair, which, oh my, this climbing phase, mamas. Ooh, it is, he's in like the climbing, but like he's very klutzy still phase, and he doesn't pay any attention. I've caught him so many times whenever he's like literally just walks off the chair, and I'm like, dude, you can't walk in air. But anyhow, we have a little toddler tower, and I put it up to the counter, and he will have usually an activity that he does too. We'll wash fruits and vegetables or potatoes. We were washing potatoes the other day. I'm washing the potatoes. I give him a little cloth. I don't usually use a cloth to wash potatoes, but I give him a cloth to wash potatoes, and I give him a potato, and he has a little bowl of water, and I'm talking to him. Wet. That's wet. Cold. That water's cold. And then, you know, maybe it's warm. I might change it out. That's warm. You know, do you feel the water? What do you feel? and splash. And when we splash, oh, the water ripples. The potato, that's smooth, or if it's, a little bumpy. We wash the potato, all clean. Oh, first the potato's dirty. So we're going through all these sequences. We're building vocabulary. We're building everyday skills. Yes, please. We want our kids to be able to clean, to be able to help us. Just talk with your kid through your everyday life. Narrate it. Even driving down the road. I laughed because the other day I was driving and they're doing some construction work kind of close by my house, and it's the way it is set up just does not flow well with traffic. Let's just say that. And I'm gonna fix this. Looks like it's pointing to the floor, so I'm gonna fix this real quick. I hope you guys have been able to see me this whole time, but maybe this is a little bit better. But anyhow, it's not flowing the best, and so there's been a lot of people going when they shouldn't be. So there was a lot of road rage the other day when we were out and people were laying on the horn, beep beep. And my son, I laughed because my son was loving it. He was back there, beep 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 beep, not at all getting the whole everyone's angry, which that is something they will pick up on later, but he was just loving the beeping. But driving down the road, we're going to go to the store, we're going to go to the store, we're going to buy this, or we're going to go to the library and we're going to look at books, or we're going to go here and see this friend. And my son has just started really talking. He was mama, dada, ball, dog, and now he's picking up on words a lot more. So the other day, I'm doing all this. We're going to go to the store. We're going to go inside. We got to put your shoes on because he's a toddler. So, of course, he takes his shoes off the second we get in the car. And he goes, store. We're going to, go to store, mama. I'm not the best at, impersonating him. But I'm like, you get me? Because I've been doing this since he was a baby, and now all of it's paying off. He's like, oh yeah, we go to the store. Yeah, I know where that is. I know what we do. When mom says we go to the store, we go in this place. Okay. And so we've been building those connections, and now he connects the word store with a place. We go and buy things. And that brings me perfectly to my next point, which is repetition and connections. If your kid wants to read the same book 50 times, that's okay. That's great. That's actually perfect, because children learn through repetition. And now I say this, that does not mean drill and practice whenever we are in early childhood. What is this? What animal is this? What animal is this? No. Flashcard. No. It just means that kids, especially, again, these are brand new people. They have no experiences. They are building everything from scratch. So a kid is going to want to listen to the same animal noise 50,000 times. My son, he has all the little animal figurines, and we go through. They're all lined up on top of his bookshelf. We go through and we say every single animal noise. And again, first, I was the one saying them all, and he loved to listen to me say them. And he might pull out one and say, the kangaroo was always one of his favorites. He might pull it out. And no, I don't do a kangaroo noise. I said the kangaroo hops. So I'll go hop, 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 kangaroo hops. And he has always loved that. So he pulls it out and he wants me to make the kangaroo hop. But now he goes through and he will say all of the animal noises. But we have repeated that several times. And even now he goes through and he repeats it. He is saying all of the animal noises over and over again. The books we read these same books over and over again. The activities you do, you're going to do the same activities over and over again. Now, it is great to rotate toys, it is, but just know that to learn a skill, They have to repeat it over and over again. Think about how many times you tied shoes before you learned how to tie your shoes. Think about walking, how many things we do to help them walk before they actually learn to walk. Anything that they're doing, they're going to need to repeat it several times. This is the foundation for everything they will learn in their life. Everything starts now. So repetition is going to happen. It's completely normal. Try to bear with it. I know my husband told me the one day he's given me the Hungry Caterpillar book to read 8 times today, and he was only with him for like 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, he loves the Hungry Caterpillar book. It's okay. And if you can, take that and expand it. That's going to be a bonus tip there. If they love something, use that. So the Hungry Caterpillar book, if that's something they love, talk about butterflies, talk about caterpillars. If you can go somewhere where you can see butterflies, or if you can hatch your own butterflies, anything that they are interested in. And there's also a lot of little activities you could make for the Hungry Caterpillar. Cut out apples, oranges, plums. They're pretty much the foods. You could just do basic shapes, cut them out, have some kind of worm or string. I want to take a real worm, something that you're using, one of those like pipe cleaners, and make the Hungry Caterpillar go through and eat it as you're reading the book. Your kid will love that. Do not force them to learn what you think they should be learning. My son has absolutely no interest in colors right now. He's 16 months old. That's perfectly fine. I will say, this is a red apple, but every time we do color sorting, he has no interest in it right now. I don't know why, but we'll get there. It's fine. He does have interest in stacking. So we stack. And yes, again, while we stack, we might talk about the colors, but I'm focusing on his interest, and I might incorporate something I want him to learn, but I'm not pushing it, because the biggest thing you can do is follow their interests. If they love trucks, get so into trucks. Count trucks. Read about trucks. Everything trucks. Everything you want them to do it with trucks. That's how you get a child to learn. That's how you encourage them, is following their interests. Sorry. That I bounced around. That brings me, but it's those connections you can build. It's, you take something they know and you're building upon it. And we call that, in the education world, schemas. And every child has schemas. It's kind of like a filing cabinet. It's how I always pictured it. And they get a folder for everything they learn. So they have a truck folder, they have a sports folder and everything, and they're filing things in those folders. And if you can connect something new to that folder, that is easier than having to make a whole new folder. Eventually, they're going to have to make a new folder for colors, yes. But if you can just connect with them, like, look at this truck. Does this look different than that truck? Yeah, because they're different colors. That's a start to learning. Anytime you can connect something that they previously have learned to something new, that's going to help them learn this new item. And again, that goes back to having those everyday life experiences, having things that they can draw from. The more things that they have in their little filing cabinet that they can pull out and draw from, the easier it is to learn a new thing. I know there's a study somewhere about how having more experiences connect to overall achievement and learning. I know there is. I remember vaguely learning it and way back when. But, you think about that, those experiences, everyday life experiences, and then maybe those experiences are through reading. If you don't have a farm nearby, look up pictures of a farm, tell them about a farm, show them farm animals, If you can, go to a farm. Any experiences that you can build for them is going to help them later learn things. So we talked about learning through everyday life, narrating things. We talked about following your child's interests, and then we talked about learning through repetition, which the repetition is just a little bonus one. So I kind of got out of order, but that's fine. Let's back up and talk. We're talking about, learning through everyday experiences. If you can't get that experience, or, even if you can, to reinforce that experience, a good thing to do is reading, of course. I was a reading teacher, of course. I'm going to say, you should read to your child, and you definitely should. As early as you can, start reading to your child. Now, you do not need to be reading I'm trying to think of a book, The Great Gatsby. You do not need to read some long chapter book. You don't even need to be reading Charlotte's Web to your baby or toddler. My husband's favorite book is Charlotte's Web, and he's like so ready for my kid to be in the like Charlotte's Web phase and everything. I'm like, he's not gonna get that. But we talked to him about, like, we've kind of created the Charlotte's Web story in a smaller story for a toddler, and we've kind of like talked to him about pieces of it just because my husband loves that story. Anyhow, you don't have to be doing that. Even a classic child's book, you don't have to read every word. I'm going to use this one as an example. I just have this laying here, actually, and we were reading this tonight. This has been my son's favorite book since he was a baby. We Did Not Love You Forever. It's actually kind of a longer book. Look at all those words. We did not start out reading all those words. Even today, we don't always read all of these words. Sometimes when he's tired and he just kind of wants to listen to me talk, I will read all of them. But mostly, we point to the pictures and talk about the pictures. And I might take pieces of the words from over here. And this one kind of actually happens to have like a song built in. So we might sing the song, but we are not reading every single word on every single page. We don't do that when we read any of our books. Now, a lot of times this is a Dolly Parton Imagination Library book. I'll leave a link for that. It's completely free, 0 to 5. Great thing to sign up for your kid. You get a free book every month. Not at all affiliated with it. I just think it's wonderful. This is one that I do read the words usually. But even this, whenever we didn't get it until he was a little bit older, because again, we get these books monthly, so it was later. He was a little older when we got it. But if he was a baby, even at 0 months, I would use this book with him. I would simply hold it over him and maybe make chicken noises, or say chicken, or, whatever, or just showing the picture. That is learning. That is an experience. That is something he can see. And if you have a stuffed animal chicken, show him the chicken, show him the stuffed animal chicken. Make the chicken make a noise. Connections. There's a connection. So reading doesn't have to be sitting and reading every page. I know it was funny because I noticed my husband doing that with my son whenever he would read with him, and he is always reading with him because my son loves to read, but my son was always a little bit distracted whenever he read with him. And then he saw me reading with him, and we kind of witnessed each other. And one day we were talking about it, and my husband's like, "You don't even read with him." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I definitely read to him, and that it's important to me. I know, literacy is something that is very low in our nation, in our state, and our, it's something whenever we have adults who struggle to read, at the level to that they need to. Literacy is a passion of mine. I know I'm reading to him. He's like, no, you just look at the pictures. That is reading for this age. And so don't feel like you have to. And then we got to talking. I showed him some videos, and and he's like, oh. And then one day he observed, and this is another thing. If you can ever observe someone or work through something with someone, it's great. That's something we do in teaching a lot, is observe other teachers and talk to other teachers. Find other parents. If you have any kind of group, any kind of organization where you can find other parents, do that. Because you can learn so much from another parent. Everybody can learn something from someone. I'm a firm believer in that. So do not feel the pressure to sit and read chapter books, or why is my kid not sitting still while I'm reading to him? Which brings me to my next point. If you have a toddler who does not sit still ever, that is completely normal, and your kid is learning. Children learn through movement, and movement is essential. Again, especially for this age. At this age, they're learning coordination, they're learning balance, and even emotional regulation through movement. They're getting out their energy. They're learning how their body works through big movements. And all of those things, these big movements, make connections in our brain. I know, again, there is a study, if I can find it, I will link it. There's a study done that children need to have bilateral coordination, which is like doing this, to be able to read successfully, because we have to read from left to right. That's a bilateral coordination in our brain. So kids need to move. Movement is perfectly normal. Definitely give them as many opportunities as you can to climb, to run, to move freely in their space. And that is one thing, safe little pack and play things are great. And definitely consider safety. Play fences, things like that are great. But also, as your child is getting older and able to move more freely, definitely make sure you're expanding that space and giving them the chance to move freely and to explore it's again ties to exploring their environment. So, you might start out with a small play area, and then you keep growing. And while you're growing, make sure you're always doing child proofing. Make sure you're always child proofing, outlet covers, anchor, furniture, anchor. If you have a climber like my son, you know that. I don't know if you can see it, but door locks, everything can be a hazard at this age. So make sure you are child proofing, and I'm sure there's videos out there that can go over all of the child proofing tips with you. So just to rapid fire go back through some of those, and then I'm going to leave you with one other thing. Reading you do not have to feel pressure when you are reading. It does not have to be reading chapter books. You don't have to be reading long things to your child. Sorry, I'm trying to make this short. Learning does not have to be academic. Learning through everyday life skills. Also, narrate everyday life things while you're doing it. You also will have to repeat yourself. Children, your toddlers will learn through repetition best. So you may be learning something or talking about something several times. That's okay. Children, there's one that I have notes here. I'm sorry. I'm not a public speaker. That is actually my husband. He is the public speaker of the family. Children learn through movement, our big movements, which is literally what I just talked about. Children learn through movement. Movement is great for learning, and also children like to learn about things that they are interested in. And even if you're doing something that they might not want to learn, if you can somehow involve their interest, you will be more likely to get them engaged in learning. And so that's 5, and then one bonus thing, and then so 6, and then I'll give you one more bonus thought to think of as we're closing. Children need you. They need a present person. Children learn through connection. They're not going to learn from a screen. Yes, they can sit here and look at books and flip through a book page for a couple minutes while you do something. An independent play. I am a strong believer in that, and building independence. Yes. However, children need connections. They need you. And that comes before anything else. Some days learning will be cuddling on the couch and talking and singing and just chilling. And they're learning because they're building that connection with you. Have you ever heard the saying that kids don't learn from teachers they don't like? Now, I do have a couple, overall, most, older kids may not like most of their teachers, then that's I have a couple caveats to say with that if I was a teacher. But as a parent, take that and think about that. Kids need connection. They need to feel safe and secure, and they need to do those big movements, to climb and everything. They need to feel the confidence. They need to feel the security from you. So take time to engage. That decompressing, for one, that's giving their brain a chance to process. So if you're constantly go, 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 go with your kid, that's a lot. Kids need processing time. They need time to just chill, just like us. Do you need that? Because I need that for sure. I need time to decompress and process what has happened throughout the week. And if not, how does it make you feel? It makes me feel overstimulated. I know that, and anxious. And that's not from any studies. That's just personal opinion and personal experiences. It makes me overstimulated and anxious if I don't have processing time. If I'm always constantly go, 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 do this to that, to activity. It's like, So give your child, and who doesn't want to just take some time and cuddle with your kid? Again, this might look different for every kid. For my son, connection, he is not going to just sit there and let me cuddle him, especially the phase he's in right now. But what we do while we cuddle, a lot of times we read. That's why there's literally books right here. And the other thing we do is a lot of games, patty cake, a lot of small movement games that we can kind of play while he's on my lap. And his biggest thing right now is he loves to take my glasses off, and your nose, your eyes, your mouth. And honestly, it's learning. It's great. He's learning his body parts. He only likes to do it on me, which just involves poking my eyes. But it's a moment of connection, and it warms my heart every time he pokes my eye. And your eyes. It's adorable. So learning does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be expensive toys. It does not have to be running from one activity to the next. It doesn't have to be Pinterest worthy. It doesn't have to be sensory bins. Those are all the things learning doesn't have to be. It's going to be, I've always said, learning is messy. Just expect that. And which is a perfect excuse to not have a perfectly clean Pinterest worthy house. We're learning. That's why it's messy. And just remember that. Give yourself grace. You are doing great. You are truly enough. And I hope you will come back and join me again. Thank you. If you have anything you want to share in the comments, please feel free. I will 100% read them and get back to you. If you want me to talk about something, if you're having some kind of struggle, I would love to share. I would love to hear. I really want this to just be a community where we can all feel safe, where we can all help each other out, and just build as parents. Because this world, I will never get into anything political, in my post, I won't ever get into anything. And this isn't really about politics. It's just, this world is changing. It's a lot different than the world we grew up in. It's a lot different than the world our parents grew up in. I mean, technology right here, this is a huge major difference, along with a lot of other things. And being a parent in this world is scary. It truly is. And we need other parents. That is a firm belief of mine. We need other parents. And parents, we need to give ourselves grace as we're learning to navigate all of this. So if any of this resonated with you, please share it. I want to reach as many people as I can. Please comment. Let me know what you think, and like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you guys. Bye.